My boyfriend refused to marry me, but he promised his late wife.
I think you got your order of operations mixed up.
Boop, beep, boop, bop, boop, boop.
You make promises to the one that can still talk to you.
For context, I have been with my boyfriend for almost 2 years now. Throughout our relationship, he has been the most attentive, loving, and thoughtful partner. We share house chores. He would buy me little gifts every now and then. He would call me every day while I'm on my way home from work. He always talks about me with his mates, etc., etc. Like, I can't even find a single irritable thing about this guy. By the way, this comes from Peony Diary, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. Well, except that he won't marry me because he promised his late wife that she will be his only wife. That is the thing we are up against. She passed away 6 years ago from an illness, and he was pretty effed up for about 3.5 years. After lots of therapy, working on himself, he gradually opened up, and we met through a board game group. He never really spoke about her until we became serious. According to him, she was the one that made him believe in true love and the idea of his soulmate. He also claims that she has moved on, but to honor her memory and promise to her, he will never have a second wife. After we have discussed this, he has never mentioned it again. It's our second anniversary soon, and I'm just thinking about what I want in my life. I really like to get married. I want someone to propose to me. I want a groom with tears in his eyes as he sees me walk down the aisle. I love this man with all my heart, and he has given me everything I could ever want in a husband, except he won't be my husband. Honestly, I don't know what to do. I know it's a common thing for partners, and it's all just paper and all, but I guess I'm a bit of a traditionalist. I feel like maybe deep down inside of him, I'm still second to her. How do I navigate this? And we have some comments. The first comment comes from Anamar69. So his late wife made him promise at 34 that he would never marry. I would never do that to my husband. I would want to make happy again. Good point. Does he have children? Does he want any more? Do you want them? If marriage is a deal breaker, you know what you have to do, but I wouldn't worry about being second to someone who would leave such a legacy. God rest her soul, and I am trying not to speak ill of those in eternal sleep, but just saying. OP responds, no. She didn't ask him for that promise. Very important to clarify. He made it willingly when she was still alive and healthy. He doesn't have children and doesn't want one. I'm on the fence in that regard on whether she wants kids or not. And we have the big update. A lot of people shared their view with me in my previous post, so I thought of sharing an update. As I expected, he is adamant in his stance. He was also a bit upset that I made him bring up the topic of his late wife as he doesn't like talking about her. I think he just doesn't like remembering that she's passed away. But he also understood that I could have doubts about his commitment and where I stand in his life. Yes, I'm not quoting him exactly, but he says something like this. And my words have meaning, and because of this, you know when I make a promise, I mean it. I said that I will stay with you forever, so I will stay with you forever. If you want a ring, I will give you a ring. If you want to wear a pretty dress, we can get you a pretty dress. But please don't make me go against my word, because if I do, nothing I say will mean anything anymore. I could promise to love you and maybe stop loving you one day, and you cannot hold it against me. Just really quick, why did he say, if you want a ring, I'll give you a ring? Because he's like, I won't marry you.
This guy's not backing up anything. This guy's so wishy-washy.
Is this guy the dumbest guy ever? He's like, I promised my wife who passed away that I'll never have another wife. So then in my dumb brain, I'm like, I'm just going to make you my wife in everything but the actual like legal document. Hey, guess what, buddy? That's going against what you said, dummy. It's not a loophole. Like, you can't loophole the promise you made. Either don't be with anyone else or be with somebody else.
This guy can't pick a lane, man.
He really can't, though. And also, again, the argument of like, if I go against my word, it'll mean nothing. It's like, bro, just look at the situation. Come on. Anyways.
It's like, come to reality, man. She's not here anymore. It's okay.
Mary was my first love after a string of broken relationships. I love the way I love because I learned it from her. I am who I am because of what I have experienced before. Please understand that sort of impact on my life. I have never compared you to her. I have never actively brought her up in our conversations. I don't even keep mementos of her in our home. I know he keeps them in the bank. Out of respect for you, so why do you question my commitment towards you? I honestly don't know how to respond at the end of that. My mind went completely blank and I felt like an I bawled my eyes out and he just comforted me. We live in a country where de facto partners have the same legal rights as married couples, so I wasn't worried about those issues. I guess I just really needed to hear him affirm his feelings towards me. Those who commented that I merely wanted a wedding could be right as well. Maybe what I wanted was the grandiosity of the wedding, so that's something that I have to think about. And also, I won't lie, I was extremely jealous of his late wife. Resentment for her is definitely something that I should also think about. Someone said couples therapy, but I think the one that actually needs therapy is me. Hold on, sister, because you're your man might also need some therapy as well.
That is the wildest take I've ever seen. That guy needs therapy. He needs grief counseling.
Yes.
He needs to learn how to move on.
Yes.
Right here.
That is exactly what it is. Virginia Historio says, this guy needs therapy. It's okay to love his late wife, but still, it's not the new spouse's issue to deal with. He needs to find healthier ways to cope with her loss and moving forward with his life. That is absolutely true because, again, now you're doing the disservice to the new partner. And why did you even get in a relationship with new partner in the first place if this is where you're at? He's not being responsible. But yeah, that's about it. I'm probably staying because I know he loves me and I do love him. Lots of introspection for myself from here on. Thank you, everyone, for your kind comments and suggestions, and I hope you have a lovely day. And those comments and suggestions are not over because we're diving into these next comments. Timely Egg Tart says, I swear all the widow relationship posts in Reddit sound like a nightmare. 92PJ says, I feel like if marriage is what you want, you should end the relationship sooner than later. You said you're staying, but I feel like you can't easily get rid of a desire to get married. It could nag you for a long time and resentment will grow. Administrative 665 says, you chose a broken pot and it doesn't want to hold any water. Can you accept it for what it is? If you really need water, then you need to let that pot go very gently. An obvious throwaway Avi says, nope. I did this once too. And there's nothing more soul crushing than watching someone you love neglect your needs for someone who isn't around to care. Put it like that.
Yeah.
That sounds tough. Promises like that aren't made for late exes. They're made for themselves. The late ex is not doing it for you. He's doing it to you. And he's still currently making you suffer because someone unfortunately passed away. Even if you try to make this work, you're going to get tired of being neglected when you're the one who's there. You're going to eventually feel like that, even though you've been around him longer than the relationship. If you stick around for that long, that you're still not going to be enough for him to move on in the next chapter of life. And even then, if somehow you're convinced to be okay with this and you get to watch later in life when it's his turn to go and you hoped to be at his bedside to hold his hand through it, you get to be locked out of that room and forced in the waiting room with no idea what is going on because no one will answer any of your questions and all you can do is wait.
This is harsh. This is really hard.
Whoa. He's not just condemning you to being viewed as essentially less valuable, but he's also condemning you to a fate of loneliness and loss greater than what he's experienced, all because he fails to understand that marrying someone and moving forward in life with someone is not a replacement for a previous person, but an entirely different experience that is new and not the same. That is not okay. It's not fair to you. And from my own experience, I feel very strongly, I think we can see that you are emotionally being taken advantage of and you're in a position to be gaslit and blamed however you feel about this. Get tired of it, and then you're too pushy. But if he gives you what you want, then it's your fault and he decides to lie and cheat. Get mad at him for wasting your time, and he gets to claim he's always been the nice guy and told you how it is. And that ambiguously threatening, if you make me a dishonorable person, no good on my word, if you do this to me. Effing man up, dude, and stop making someone accountable for your own choices.
The way he processed that just makes me think you don't even know what lying is. You don't know what breaking your word is because you're like, well, as long as I don't do literally the exact thing that I said, it's okay. Being like, well, it's like, I promise I won't cheat on you with any women. And then it's just like, you're like, I cheated on you with men. I told you that I wouldn't cheat on you with women. It's like, you still did something bad. If
you read back to my previous statement, I didn't do exactly that. I did this.
If you thumb back to our relationship agreement, you'll see that the men were totally on the table.
But yes, in adult life, sometimes people make promises they realize they can't keep. And yes, that is life. I promised to never break up with my high school boyfriend. Surprise! I'm 40 and I'm not with my high school boyfriend. Oh!
Liar!
How dare you?
Liar! Deceiver!
But that doesn't mean my whole life is a lie. I'm so sorry you're going through this, OP. I really feel for you, and this thread in particular triggers me because I went through 4 years of this in a relationship that lasted longer and had more life events than what the dude with this late ex did. For all the times I held him when he cried, all the sacrifices I gave, all the love I poured into the relationship, and all the times I put his needs first, from taking care of his senile dementia mother who wouldn't stop threatening me, to risking myself pulling his dog out of a freaking fire, always having his back. It's never enough to finally accept building a legitimate future and all the privileges that come with it. and you don't get the house shopping. You don't get to be the one in the know during emergencies. You don't get the, oh, it's nice to finally meet his wife when he starts a new job. You get the, if you were such a great girlfriend, why doesn't he marry you? And the, nope, we're not going to discuss procedures and costs with you because you're just a girlfriend. And if you stick around until end of life, either it's you can't take time off work to mourn his passing because bereavement leave is for family only, and you also need to find a new place to live because that's his house, and his family decided to run the eviction process on you, so now you're homeless,
Oh my God.
mourning, and still have to go to work. And you might be lucky to go to the funeral, but you're not going to be able to keep anything to remember him by because his family wants it.
Holy moly. I think we just got the whole story right there.
Hey, this was a crazier story within a story.
Wow. The storyception.
Wow. I mean, the comment's not over, by the way. There's still more to the comment. That was just the end of that, like, insane, like, crescendo.
That was crescendo is the perfect word for that.
Oh.
They just made Opie like realize, hey, I've been through this.
Yeah, like,
Pretty much.
if anyone has been through it, it is commenter right here. I don't mean to sound like I'm projecting.
That's what you put.
It's a little too late. It's just a little bit too late. But please, please don't do this to yourself. You're going to end up with a complex if you stick around where she has wiener blocked your entire life despite you being the one there to do the heavy lifting. Sometimes jealousy is not supposed to be ignored. So please move on. Don't do 4 years like I did. It's been a while now, but I now have to do therapy to be able to function in the relationship that is living the dream for me. And that commenter just takes us on home because that is the end of that story.